Welcome to Greenberg News with your host, Brian Greenberg on WNJC 1360 AM, wrapping up 18 years in broadcasting. In fact, today's show kicks off my 19th year, and I have a very special show. I wanted to do it something different. I've scoured the globe looking for the right guest that kind of represents what I'm about and what my program is about, and I couldn't have made a better choice, because
nice.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just thrilled to have Riana Milne, who is a psychotherapist. Her business, Therapy by the Sea, is in Egg Harbor Township. By the way, first, her website is rianamilne.com. We'll get into that. Her app is My Relationship Coach. And her newest book, released this past year, is Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. And she's also the author of a forthcoming book. She just cranks them out. God bless her. Coming out next in January, Love Beyond Your Dreams. Break free from toxic relationships to have the love you deserve. She's also the author of the book, Watch Me, The Bold New Motivational Attitude for Personal Success. Riana, it is indeed a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And an honor. My God, we could get into, I want to first look at your number of degrees you have, because that would take the balance of the show to probably explain. But why don't you give our listeners a little bit about your credentials?
I'll give you my background. I have a triple master's in applied clinical and counseling psychology.
Triple?
Well, it's a 3-part master's.
Okay.
In order to be in private practice, you have to do step 1, then step 2, then step 3. That was done at Rowan University, and I've been in private practice at Therapy by the Sea for 14 years. And in 2009, actually, I started taking my certification for being a certified relationship and life coach. So I'm in the process of segueing my practice from therapy into coaching, which gives me the ability to coach from around the world.
Wow.
So, I have a client in London now, one in Texas. So
that's
I can
so
coach
cool.
anyone. Yes, and I'm developing a brand new website that should be done the end of this month. At my name, rianamilne.com. And it will just be switching from the current website that's up to the new version. And that will be able to also take coaching clients, and I'll have podcasts and webinars through that newer site. So
you are an evolution.
I just work hard, but I play hard too.
Well, that's
part of my philosophy.
Well, that's a wonderful philosophy to have, and I know you've been working very hard, cranking out all these books and prepping it up. And God bless you. So I'm curious about the psychotherapy aspect. Why don't you explain, what is psychotherapy?
Okay, well, it is, the clinical scientific approach to helping people, but it does involve a diagnostic code. So it's the medical model of helping people. The coaching model is looking at yourself from this point in life and moving you forward in all your life spheres. So you would look at finances and relationship, your personal goals, your goals for your family, just, one step at a time, looking at everything. I have a lady in her early 60s that's looking to launch a new business.
That's great.
I have a gentleman that came to me with a broken heart that wanted to heal from a bad relationship and move forward with more confidence. And he just finished his round of sessions and wrote me a beautiful testimony, and he's got a wonderful young girlfriend, so he's very happy. So it really depends what they come to me with, and we look at that point where they are and then move them forward. So it's very flexible. It does involve worksheets and homework. And
because people I don't like homework. I wasn't a good student.
It's very motivational and inspirational, so it's really up my alley. That's who I am. That's what I'm about. Even though I have the degrees I have, LPC stands for Licensed Professional Counselor. CADC is Licensed Certified Drug and Alcohol Addictions Counselor. SAC is Student Assistance Counselor, where I worked in the schools for 10 years with kids in emotional crises. CCGC is Gambling Addictions, and then I am the Certified Relationship Coach. And then I just got certified for Florida, which is Licensed Mental Health Counselor, and CAP, Certified Addiction Professional. So I have all those initials after my name, but basically I just like to help people.
That's the essence of who you are.
Exactly.
And you're just a warm person who gives and just likes to instill and change people's lives.
Thank you. Yes.
So I got to ask you, and looking at the various what are the most common problems that people come to you with? You mentioned some of the issues, but I'm curious, what is the common denominator out there today? What are most people suffering from?
Lack of the ability to communicate with confidence and not. Let me see. The ability to communicate with confidence and fight their fears of saying what's really on their mind. So instead of talking honestly to their partner, they'll keep it inside, and then resentment builds, or they look for love and compassion outside of the relationship, which of course causes a whole host of new problems. And then if the parents are not right amongst themselves, it affects the families and the children. So the children are coming into school upset, not sleeping. The children that bully are the children that are upset or angry at home. So it really it comes down to helping the couple be their best selves individually, and then two strong whole individuals coming together for a whole relationship, which is what I call the evolved relationship.
Now, is it since you've started practice, has this exploded, the amount of problems people seem to be going through today? Is it more so the same, or like the trends that you're seeing?
I'll tell you what has made it explode is the internet. Yeah,
How so?
The problems have really escalated.
I thought the internet is supposed to help people.
Well,
except for the porn sites.
information-wise, sure it does, But interpersonally, it's had a lot of problems. Basically, I have to say one of the things that has exploded is porn addiction.
Really?
Tearing apart a lot of families and couples.
But
because
it's a computer screen. I mean, it's a picture. I mean, you look for a couple minutes. After a while, I don't get it.
It's still, an emotional cheating.
Yeah.
If you're in chat rooms, pulling your full dynamic self away from your partner. So that has torn apart a lot of couples and, as an end result, families. So that is one of the major new issues.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that. I forget. I think there was a priest. I'm not sure this person's some high-level person, and he basically stepping down. I wish I remember the guy's name recently because it wasn't an emotional or physical relationship he had with someone. It was an emotional relationship.
Right.
From that it was. And I think it stemmed from the internet, that it manifested from that.
Yes.
So that's very common? I guess that's...
It's very common. It's sad. I have a woman, for example, engaged. The couple has a little boy. They're planning their wedding, and at 4 a.m. in the morning, it's a large knock on the door, and it's the FBI coming to arrest her fiancé for...
Oh, my God.
His internet's, with a 14-year-old. So,
oh my God.
These are the devastating stories that walk into my office, and it's a lot of heartache. And this is part of the book, the newer one, Love Beyond Your Dreams, which is break free of toxic relationships to have the love you deserve. And there's a 4-part to this book. First part is how to spot an emotional manipulator or a toxic person. And the first section goes into all the different personality types that you want to be cautious about. One is narcissism, bipolar, borderline, sociopath. As a matter of fact, 1 in 4 people are sociopathic.
1 in 4?
Yes.
That's 25%. That's a lot of people.
That's correct.
I'm good at the numbers. I'm a CPA.
Yeah,
I'm showing off.
I read that in a book called The Sociopath Next Door, and I was surprised at that.
Wow.
Stat as well. But, people are asking me, isn't a sociopath someone that kills people? No, that's more a psychopath.
Okay.
That may resort to killing and murder. A
Right.
sociopath is someone that lacks empathy for another. So without integrity, they'll just do whatever they want in a selfish,
cold.
narcissistic way.
Wow.
I'll cheat on her. Who cares? Or I'll engage in this and not think about the repercussions of what could happen in their community, on their job, and in their family.
Wow.
So I'm trying to, get people to understand, to be held more personally accountable. Integrity, as I describe it in my office, is doing the right things when nobody's looking. Ultimately, God's watching, so you're going to be found out.
That's a great statement. That's a wonderful statement. Absolutely. Oh, I love that. If you live with integrity,
your relationships should be beautiful. And where they fall apart is one of the two people is not living in integrity.
One thing you mentioned about, living with or involved in a toxic relationship. And I think that's the biggest problem I hear is that people keep making the same mistakes and not recognizing who they're hooking up
They're
with.
called relationship repeaters. And actually, I just wrote a column. I'm a columnist for Catamaran Press, the current newspapers of South Jersey. And I have a weekly column. And my column just last week was on RR, relationship repeaters. And I do mention them in my book a little bit. And that comes actually from your past, where there's two reasons. For example, that's easier to give it as an example. A young girl that grows up with a father who's alcoholic consciously would never choose a man that's alcoholic.
Right.
Because of all her pain from her past. And ironically, she ends up with someone with an addiction issue or alcohol problem.
Now, why is that?
Okay, two reasons. The first one is subconsciously you will choose something that is considered normal for you.
So you're comfortable in that environment.
Comfortable with it, exactly.
You
So
make that connection. You know that you
subconsciously
gravitate.
you're going to be very attracted to that type of person.
Wow.
And second of all, if you heal the problem in your current partner, then you've healed the past.
So you're trying to fix what occurred
Exactly. So if you're aware of what your past triggers are, what I call them in the book, then you will tend not to repeat. And you'll be on the lookout. You will know what to watch for. And that's what the first section is about. The second section is Stop the Cycle of Dysfunction, Abusive Relationships, where I go into that. A second part of why you choose who you do is called a love map.
What's a love map?
Okay. That is, now, if you think back between the ages of 5 and 11, you probably had a childhood crush. And you'll remember the first and last name of that person, right? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay. So whoever that was, that's
Renee.
and you know the last name, and I remember mine.
Yes.
And that's the type of person you're usually instantly attracted to. So mine was dark hair, dark eyes. That's usually what I'm really attracted to. However, I have to fight that pattern sometimes. And it's important to look at the inside qualities of who someone is. And that's why I write about a 90-day rule when you're dating. Get to know the inside of somebody. What is their level of integrity? Can you trust them? Are they consistent in their work and who they are as a person? Do they have a good reputation in the community? You know, are they an honorable person?
Right.
From the inside. So you're going to have to fight your love map attraction very often to try to look at the interior of somebody.
That's a great statement. That kind of follows up on a thought I came to recently that people say this person's nice to me. Well, don't judge the person how they are to you. Observe how they are to other people where there's nothing to gain by it.
Well, however, Brian, you have to be careful because a sociopath is very charming.
Right, to you. But let's say they may be mean
they
to
could be charming to the whole community, but the problem is they have a secret life. Have you heard of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde personality type?
Yes.
The
I know a little bit
Broadway
of that.
show was brilliant because Dr. Jekyll was loved in the community and helped everyone, but Mr. Hyde was a hidden personality that went out at night and, you know, was in the brothels and then murdered women after he had sexual liaisons with them.
Right.
Okay, so it's that hidden dark personality type, which is sociopathic. So they present themselves as this wonderful person.
Right.
And again, they're usually super romantic, very charming. You know, so ladies, be careful. Those guys that come on super fast, you know, make them slow down and really look at who they are over, you know, a longer period of time before you're investing yourself too much emotionally.
You must be tough to deal with.
No, I'm a really easy person.
I'm teasing you.
No.
But my point is that you recognize where people are coming from.
Well, in the book, it has actually the questions you should ask people about to see if there's any triggers. Like, for example, I had a date with someone that said he hated his mother.
Ooh.
And it's like, bing, you know, the bell goes off in my mind, which is a section called Mother Hater.
Okay,
you know?
what is that about?
Okay.
Because there's some people, there may be legitimate reasons to hate the mother.
Well, this gentleman, you know, he was the last of 5 children, and by the time he was born, it was like a mistake pregnancy. She had a business. She wasn't home much.
He was
so
neglected.
He felt very abandoned.
Right.
Yes, and then there's coping mechanisms in that child. So whether it, you know, whatever they are, they usually become faulty as an adult. So what had happened, this gentleman had dated me and wanted to connect right away, and I said, well, you know, I don't know you well enough to become exclusive after one date.
Wow.
You know, and then, you know, I was very polite about it, but I enjoyed my date. I'd like to date you some more. And he got really angry. Well, I don't want you seeing anyone else. And he became very possessive and jealous and then verbally nasty.
Ooh.
And I said,
on a dime.
Well,
He flipped-
again,
right.
if a woman did not accept him at 100% what he wanted,
Right.
that hidden personality type came out. So, I knew up front when I heard the story that this could be a problem.
Wow.
Could be.
You saw the tread marks, as they say. You knew that.
To be alert.
Right.
So this book will outline how to be alert as you're out there in dating world, is what I call it.
Well, this is really essential. It's a how-to, not just so much finding the person, but how to identify the person you're with.
It is a relationship book like none other, because in the
You're
first section,
right.
it goes into everything to watch for. And then the second section, the questions you want to ask as you're dating, and to be careful of your own personality triggers. You may have a love addiction issue from your own childhood abandonment. And there's two types of abandonment issues. There's fault and no fault.
All right.
And no fault abandonment, for example, is a father due to his work. Let's say he's in the military, had to be away from the family. And when he was home, he's very loving and affectionate, but the child may be asking, when is
Right.
dad coming home? You never know. So you have some abandonment there,
Right.
longing for your father figure. Another no-fault abandonment is a parent that may have died early. Okay, certainly not their fault. It's
Sure.
just the situation.
Right.
A fault abandonment is a father, for example, that may have just left the family and said, I'm out of here, and may not keep in touch with the child very often. So a child that grows up will have some abandonment issues as long as you recognize them and you're consciously aware as you're dating, and that's called living in the now. Really monitoring who are you today, what are you bringing in from your past triggers, monitoring. Being able to monitor those triggers.
Right.
And, not bring that into your relationship. Or if you're struggling with something, say, hon, I'm struggling with something, probably due to a past trigger.
Right.
Sometimes you say you're going to be there and you don't call. I really need you to be accountable to calling if you say you're going to. So communicating through it.
And I think what really gets down to, and I see, is that there's a lot of fear in communication.
Yes.
That if they open up, they'll be rejected. Is that the ultimate fear, I guess, that drives people to suppress
Well, it's so
what
interesting.
they think?
I just attended a Tony Robbins 4-day seminar, which was fantastic at the Meadowlands.
4 days. God bless you.
It was
Woo.
great. It was great. And they talk about facing your fears, especially in communications, being truly authentic to who you are and speaking as something occurs. So if something's bothering you,
speak your mind.
it, but don't yell it.
Right.
Again, I talk to couples in my office all the time. There's never a reason to scream at your partner, not ever. So instead you say, when this happens, I need you to do this, or could you do this for me so I don't feel afraid? So you just communicate it through. And again, parents are modeling their behavior to their children.
Right.
It's funny when I have parents come up with a teenager, they want to drop him off and say, fix my kid because he's yelling and screaming at me. It's like, oh, no. I want to see the parents first in my
Absolutely.
office. And then I ask, what's the communication style between you and your husband? Well, if there's a lot of yelling and screaming, then I say, just very quietly, well, then why do you expect your child to do anything differently? You've modeled to them screaming and yelling is normal to fix an issue.
Right. I think the real fact, most parents think that they can impact their kids by what they say. It's like zero.
It's both, Brian. It's what they say and what they do. Modeling is the behavior.
Right.
Communication style, the children are listening to that too.
Do kids listen? I thought they listened to their peers. They don't listen to the parents.
No, if the parents, it's funny, my daughter Alexia and I had a radio show on Sunday on Transformation Nation, her podcast, and we were talking about parenting, and I said, do you ever remember when I ever yelled at you? She goes, never.
Aww.
And my daughters are both extremely successful young ladies, and it's the way I raised them. So there's never a reason to yell at your partner or yell at your children unless, of course, they're in danger. Don't take your hand away from the stove. Then I would yell, But other than that, it's the word discipline is from the Bible. It means to teach. And young children are not supposed to know exactly what to do. It's very important as you, the parent, sits down in a calm and loving way to teach them a better way. And part of that system is you ask the child, well, how do you think we can fix this? and they come up with 1 or 2 suggestions on their own. And you're teaching them a life skill about how to fix their problems.
And to be engaged in the process.
Right.
To make them own it.
Exactly. The importance of an apology, whether it's verbal or written, how they can fix the problem. So you're teaching them critical thinking. So, I mean, that's a very important part of parenting, and I do a lot of parenting education in my therapy center.
God bless you. I know you earn your pay when you're doing parental coaching and advisory.
I mean, I love helping. So, the number one thing a teenager wants is just to be understood. And they want respect, and they need to know how to show respect. So it's teaching the whole family a different communication style and negotiating. The teen is growing up. A lot of parents are afraid to let go and give their teen more freedoms. And you give them a little bit, let the teen succeed, and then they get more. Because really, the teenager has to be prepared to get out into the world. Both of my girls at age 19, one was in Santa Barbara and one is in New York, both supporting themselves at 100%. Due to the skills I taught them.
You need to patent that approach.
It's actually when I was pregnant with Stefana, that was 31 years ago. She's 31 now. She lives in Orlando with her husband and my grandson.
Oh.
Yeah, Logan. He's amazing.
Oh.
But anyway, when I was pregnant with her, I read a book from the Better Baby Institute, which is a center right outside of Philadelphia in Wyncote. And they have all these teaching materials. So I taught my children to read by the age of 2. Alexi skipped 11th grade. She went from 10th to 12th at Atlantic City High School. So you can teach your children the love and the passion of learning from that age 2 to 5. If you miss it, you're missing crucial ages to make your children succeed. From day one that my kids went into kindergarten, it was funny. I said, well, what do you teach in kindergarten? They said, well, this is letter A and this is letter B. I'm like, well, my girls are reading books right now.
Wow.
So can they jump a grade? Oh, by age, they would not let them jump. But
right.
They just got A's all the way through school, almost effortlessly. And it's what you're teaching your children from 2 to 5 years old. So I have to credit what I learned back then.
But that's how it's carried on.
Institute.
But I'm telling you, they should be copying what you do. Seriously.
Well, in the book, Live Beyond Your Dreams, there's that book is written about how to be your best self. So it goes into the individual path and what you need to do. And then there's a separate chapter on parenting, one for couples, one for teens. Okay, so I do hit all 3 levels of what I work with within my therapy center. And it's written in a very easy to understand way, actually, so teenagers can read it and absorb it. And my daughter, Alexi Panos, her section is It Works for Young People, too. And I wanted her to write on her experience when she was 15. She wanted to be a singer. And her own dad says, you'll never be a singer. That's a joke, which is a very sad thing. But I said, you can do whatever you dream to do.
Right.
Totally, you can do it. And if you believe, the world happens to align for you. And that's a very spiritual concept, and I am very spiritually based. But I was a model and talent agent for 10 years, and I happened to be in South Beach, and I happened to run into this top recording artist at a nightclub and talked to him about Alexi, and he calls my home in Ventnor a week later. And within 2 weeks, she's flown out to the Teen Choice Awards and put in the studio, and he calls me, he goes, oh my God, she's amazing. So she's on 3 multi-platinum CDs as a singer.
Wow.
Traveled around the world. She ended up in Africa. And they were all in the club partying as they normally do. And she comes out to the tour bus and she says, Mom, I'm looking down at the little children in Africa who have nothing. And she says, I can't resonate with this. I can't live with this. So she said, I made a promise then and there on the bus, I will be back to help you. So I remember sitting on the Ocean City Boardwalk at Mac and Manco Pizza, and she said, how can I do this, Mom? I'm not rich, I'm not famous. And I said, but you are incredibly smart and your soul is amazing and you will figure this out. She goes, but I'm just an everyday kid. And I said, you're going to get this.
Aww.
So she formed EPIC, which is Everyday People Initiating Change, and proceeds of our book benefit EPIC. And it's 10 years later, and she has 10 water wells in Tanzania, Africa. And the freshwater wells bring water to people in villages of 3,000 to 6,000 people. So her website is epic.
This is all her efforts that
Yes.
brought about these 10 water wells.
Yes, and her best friend, Tennille DeFratis, also, Tennille Moore is what she goes by. She is a singer, is her partner in the charity. So it's epicthemovement.org, and she has some very moving films about her charity. And then the other proceeds go to my Performing Arts Scholarship Fund, because I always believe the arts of all types really help kids with their self-esteem and decrease high-risk behaviors. So how to apply to the scholarships is in the book, Live Beyond Your Dreams. And actually, the kids at Atlantic City High School are helping me produce the audio CDs. One gentleman in particular put a lot of hours in, Sky Glenn, who wants to be in broadcasting. So he is donating his time to the CDs and the effort for Epic.
You don't sleep, do you?
I do sleep very
Do you?
well, actually.
I'm sure. I'm not saying the quality of the sleep. I'm talking about the number of hours in a day that
8
you
hours.
sleep. You get 8 hours
I
in,
do.
and you're doing all this.
Yeah.
I've never met
I'm
someone.
really into holistic health, though, mind, body, and soul. So
I
I
get-
meditate 15 minutes a day. I
Okay.
do watch my sleep. I do exercise. I eat very healthy. A lot of a green diet. I do green shakes.
Right.
But I put in my work hours, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is creative work day.
Right.
And today is Friday.
It's perfect. It's a perfect day to do
So
this.
we're doing this, and I
Right.
have an appearance tonight at the Deptford Barnes & Noble to sign my book and read some chapters for Live Beyond Your Dream and promote Love Beyond Your Dreams. And this is the series. It's called Beyond Your Dreams Relationship Series. So, I'll be appearing there tonight from 5 to 7 p.m. for their happy hour. Happy hour, they call it.
Cool.
And
So you can get drunk with
I don't know if they're serving, but it's called Get Happy, and
Okay.
they're doing a lot of promotions within the
Right.
store before
For the
the
holidays.
mad holiday rush.
Right.
But I will also be appearing at the Barnes & Noble store in Marlton and in
you have a date.
Cherry Hill. So
have
I'd
those
like to
dates
promote
yet?
those
Absolutely.
dates.
Give us
I
the-
do have those dates.
Well, you better have those dates. While you're looking up the dates, you are listening to Greenberg News on WNJC 1360 AM, celebrating 18 years in broadcasting on Greenberg News with WNJC Radio. Just an outstanding time. By the way, we've been chatting with my special guest for my anniversary show is Riana Milne, who you can check out. Her website is www.rianamilne.com.
It's Riana
Riana.
Milne.
What I keep saying. Why don't you do it? Because I'm killing your name.
Sure.
Riana Milne. I can pick
That's
it up.
it.
I'm a little slow, but eventually
I'll
get
spell it because it's different. It's RianaMilne.com.
Cool.
And then my app is My Relationship Coach, where there's over 50 free articles. It is free to download. And if you're interested in coaching or counseling, you can make an appointment right through the app.
Cool.
And there's free gifts if you sign up. And
Free
it's-
gifts. Oh, that's
Yeah,
hey,
informational gifts.
that's okay. Gift's a gift.
That's
The
right.
gift that keeps on giving.
And 15 minutes of free coaching, actually.
Wow.
As well, with me, and
Rihanna is-
there's no charge for that.
You're the star of the show. You get the
no.
star right off.
So these events,
Yes.
if I could mention them, that would
Absolutely.
be great. One is Saturday, December 7th at Barnes & Noble, Deptford. I will be back there for their book drive for charity and meet the author. And, of course, the Live Beyond Your Dreams book does qualify for the charities, because we have two great foundations for that. And then Sunday, and that time I will be there is 2 to 4 and 5 to 7. So I will be there.
They give you an hour to eat, get a bite. and
That's
then-
right. I will be there all day. And then Sunday, 12/8 from 2 to 4. That is in the Marlton store. And Saturday, 12/14 from 2 to 4 is the Cherry Hill Barnes & Noble store, where I will be doing some coaching and reading within my book and touching on couples and relationship success, parent-child-teen relationships, balance and life stress, career or job hunting concerns, and goal setting for personal success. All items that are mentioned in the Live Beyond Your Dreams book.
Wonderful. In describing who you are, it's really about the journey you've gone on. That's really made you the successful person you've become. And I think it's just a great story if you want to share with my listeners.
Sure. Well, it kind of stems back to the age when I was 16, where I lost a very dear friend of mine since we were 4 years old. He lived down the street and across the cornfield, and Huntington Valley is where I grew up. And his name was Mike.
There were cornfields in Huntington Valley?
Yes, wow. Way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
And his name is Michael Marcucci, and he was killed by a drunk driver, and it really devastated but changed my life. And I had to find some of the good out of the bad, which is actually one of the chapters in the book. And I decided that I had to take on a new attitude, that life was really a gift. And I became more serious, and people would laugh because they know me as really fun-loving, and I love to dance, and got this real bubbly personality, but deep in, I'm a very deep thinker. And I turned to more spiritual at that time and saying, okay, I have to live my life with more purpose because I don't know how much time I have. And in some way, I'm going to give back to Michael's memory. So then I went off to Penn State. Actually, back in those days, I worked for WFIL Radio as a boss chick. Remember those models, Brian?
You were a boss chick?
Yes.
I finally got to meet you.
Yeah, so I was all over the city of Philadelphia and really enjoyed working for my boss at the time, Gene Vassell, and I had the pleasure of knowing Jim O'Brien. So it was back in those days. But the loss of Michael really set me on a different path. And then when I was in Penn State, soon after graduation, I married and had my first child and went back to visit my college roommate. And soon after that visit, she ends up dead. So this is the second one of my dear friends that was lost. And so soon after that, with my marriage, I was in Erie, PA, and I started with no financial backing, a model and talent company called Riana Model and Talent.
What were you doing in Erie, Pennsylvania?
Well, my boyfriend at Penn State, back in our day, you married your college sweetheart, so that's who I married.
And he was from Erie?
He was from Erie.
He dragged you to Erie. Oh, my
yes,
God.
The cold country.
God bless you. And
right. We had he wanted to go into a business and borrowed a large sum of money from my mother. And that loan was reneged on. And we actually had to bankrupt the company. And the company was amazing. It was called 24 Karat Candies in Philadelphia. And soon I had actually received the Young Entrepreneur Award for the Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
Because I had the company on Pollock. Action News.
Alan Pollock. I know you do. I mean, Don Pollock.
Don Pollock,
yes.
The lighter side of the news.
Yes.
He was in there making chocolate and had dripping chocolate all over himself. And then I had us on other television shows about the history and the story of chocolate and in the newspaper. So I had our marketing out all over the place. And it was a higher-end chocolate as well. We did custom chocolates for the Philadelphia Flyers and Cibagagi and Meritor Financial. So within a short amount of time, I had really launched the company, but my husband had insisted on buying a larger company's name, and I did not agree with this business move. I said, you have to pay back your original loans first,
right?
To my family. And he said no, and took on people I didn't believe in, some partners, and within the year, the company went, and it was for $750,000 of bankruptcy. So here I am, 26 years old.
That amount of debt at that age.
And that amount of debt, I was just sick. And I had these, mom of two girls. I did not want to split up my family. But the attorney that actually handled my divorce, he says, you have to bankrupt. I said, I can't rip people off. That's not who I am.
Right.
And he goes, Riana, you just can't spend the rest of your life paying off these debts that you didn't cause.
Right.
This other team in my business caused it. So I started my model and talent company with no money because I couldn't get a loan. And just with sheer will that I needed to support myself and my two children.
Now, Riana, you're doing a modeling and talent company in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yes. It was a real people concept.
I
So I had from 4 to 84 years old.
But I mean, where is there a need for models in Erie,
All
Pennsylvania?
over the place.
Really?
It really hit. And my
Wow.
school ended up winning 3-time international awards for Model and Talent School of the Year. Because I take my talent to New York to compete and LA to compete. So I had models placed all over the world.
So obviously well trained.
Well, very well trained. And, my own daughter's success, she grew up in the business, and Lexi's doing amazing with her career, her model and talent career. So, and I had other people out in LA in New York that did extremely well. So I had the company 10 years and really loved it, but I started with my first month's rent and a prayer and a vision. And, and it did very well for me. And, of course, I paid my mother back because they never did. And that took me 12 years of my life, no matter what I did. Right. Here, Mom, here
God
you
bless
go.
You.
But it was the right thing to do. And that's who I am. I live by doing the right things. So
you're a woman with deep integrity, character, conviction.
Thank you. So by 37, I always wanted to be a counselor. At that time, my kids were grown, and I was able to put myself through school. And
so you made this career change. You've built a successful modeling business.
Well, at 17, I knew I had 5 things I wanted to do.
Right.
I wanted to be in the modeling and acting profession. I wanted to be a counselor. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a mom. And I wanted to be on stage as a motivational speaker.
You're a performer.
So the last piece is coming to fruition. That's what I'm meditating on now.
The best is yet to come. You know
that's
that.
Right. That's right.
This is when it all comes together.
Yeah.
The excitement, you have yet to really taste the real excitement that's about your experience.
Well, I have this goal-setting system described in Live Beyond Your Dreams. There was a lesson my father taught me as a teen. He said, "Hon, if you have the 5 Ds, you can do anything, with your drive, determination, devotion, dedication, and dare to dream." And that dare to dream is, the process of Beyond Your Dreams, the series.
Wow.
So in other words, through the goal-setting system that I have described in the book, you set your goals, you meet them, and then you go on to your next one. And that way you're always growing. I remember Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying.
It's true.
And I can see that with people that come into my office. They're depressed, they're anxious, they're stuck in a toxic relationship, they're afraid to leave it. They have no drive or compassion for living. Even young people, their energy levels are their age.
Yeah.
So someone in their 30s could look 55, and someone who's 56 can look 35.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the moment.
Yes, and living a passion. You have to have a passion and purpose-filled life, and that also involves giving back. One of my mottos since the Model and Talent Company was help yourself by helping others. So you help yourself by feeling good about who you are when you reach out to help change somebody's life. So
you transformed at age 37. You built this great business, but you wanted to get into counseling. So it takes a lot to walk away from a successful business to pursue but your passion was in counseling.
Well, I was helping people in the Model and Talent Company as well. I had, here's a story of Michael. He was an auto mechanic, and he kept coming up because I want to do this. I said, Michael, you can do anything if you believe it. Oh, but I've never done this. I said, listen, you're a very handsome guy. I look like a guy from Baywatch. Blonde hair, blue eyes, big white smile, very well-built body. And I said, you're definitely a Baywatch guy. And he goes, well, I would love to do that. And he goes, I think I want to model more. And I said, well, listen, you're too bulky to be a model. The European cut for male models are more slim cut. I said, but I see you as an actor. So he went through my school, and he went back to the guys at the shop and said, I'm going to do this. And they're all laughing at him. And they're saying, oh, you can't do this. And this is where the watch me mindset comes from. It came from my personal story where, when I told my husband I wanted a divorce, he went into my Model and Talent Company and took all the files and threw them and had a rage, and which was typical of his personality. And I said, there's got to be a better way to live. And I didn't want to split up my family, but I made that bold move. And he says, see how far you'll get in this town without my last name. And I said, watch me. And I didn't know what I was going to do at that time. I just knew I had the determination to have a better life. And that's where that came from. In my 2006 book is called Watch Me. But I started teaching my models this watch me attitude, or this mindset. It's like, don't let the guys tell you at the shop that you can't do this. In your own mind, you say, watch me. And it's not a defiance or anger towards someone else. It's your own self-talk, this motivational mindset that you can do whatever it is you set your mind to doing. So lo and behold, long story short, Michael ended up on Baywatch.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Out in L.A. So I have a lot of
Erie,
stories.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories like that, but they all geared themselves up mentally.
you helped transform them. You were the conduit.
Well, you can do whatever you want, and I walked on fire at Tony Robbins, and who
Yeah,
would have thought you can walk on hot coals?
Now explain this to me. I saw that. I figure maybe you're
I'm very proud to be
exaggerating.
called a fire walker. It's incredible.
You walked on hot coals.
Yes, it's something that he does in his Ultimate Power 4-day seminar series. And he does it the first night. I kind of thought he would wait till the fourth night,
Right,
but
to
I'm
build
there.
up.
And I went with a girlfriend. She walked on the coals before, and I said, well, did you hurt your feet? And I was very concerned about this, Brian, because I love to dance, and I'm quite a good dancer. And it's like, no, I can't burn up my dancing feet.
Exactly. That's a big problem there. You're leaving exposed.
Yeah, right. So she says, well, the first time, I got a little burn. I said, oh, you did? She goes, but the second time I was okay. So it's like, I'm going to make this happen. I said, well, what happened between time 1 and time 2? And Eva said to me, she goes, I just got out of the zone. You have to stay really focused in your head. So it's like, I'm going to do this. So he teaches you to make this physiological move with your body, whichever one you resonate with. And mine was just, yes, where I pump my fist and crouch down, close my eyes real tight and see myself succeeding in my head, walking across the fire with no pain, no anxiety, no issue.
But how about what I get the mental?
Right.
I don't understand the physical.
Me either, but I wasn't asking questions.
All right. So by having the mental, your skin does not burn.
No, it did not. I had no Mars, no blisters. It's an absolute amazing thing. I would advise anyone to attend the Tony Robbins seminars. It really changes your life. It faces your fears. And it's like you can do anything you are determined to do. And it's funny, I've been listening to Tony Robbins for 30 years. He's always been one of my mentors. And when I read my book, reading and writing my book and listening to him recently, it's like, wow, we have a lot of the same concepts that we teach, about this my watch me want mindset is his facing your fears. It's kind of the same type of story.
So when they had this in the Meadowlands, you're in a big
huge arena,
and there's
5,500 people.
5,500 people attending 4 days.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it was really high energy. Everybody's shouting and clapping and chanting and saying, yes, I can do this. It was very motivational. It was awesome.
Oof.
Yeah. So it's a 12-foot path of hot coals.
Yeah, don't do this until
do not do this at home.
Do not do it at home or before you take the course.
That's right.
That's the important thing we want to stress here.
Exactly.
My listeners say, "Oh, I just heard Rihanna says we can walk on coals." I got motivated from her. I feel empowered. And then
attend the seminars.
And then they'll be knocking down my door, wanting to do bad things to me.
So the new book, The Love Beyond Your Dreams, the proceeds will be towards women empowerment groups. So I hope to be holding my own seminars very soon as that book is launched.
Great.
And for empowering women and couples.
Do you often do seminars? Are you putting on programs for?
I've done a lot of seminars where I get hired out to do them. Like schools will bring me in. I have one program that's very popular, Reaching the Emotionally Difficult Child, because that's with the kids that I worked with as a SAC counselor, student assistance counselor. So that's a 3-hour PowerPoint presentation, and trying to educate them about some of the emotional and mental illnesses out there and how you can reach that child. Difficult.
You just let your plate gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I used to work close by here at the Winslow Elementary School.
Okay.
In Vineland. That was a K-6 school. Then I was at Atlantic City High School and then Wildwood Middle and High School.
So you're from the Egg Harbor area?
Egg Harbor Township.
Area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. So hometown girl makes good.
Thank you. But my podcasts, I'll be doing podcasts through my website so people can go on there and listen to some of these topics. And there'll be webinars also, so they can sign up for those.
So now you're venturing into a whole new stream, coaching. Tell us about that. How you're on a metamorphosis yourself because you're always growing and offering. And now tell us about this whole coaching program you're developing.
Well, I feel like I've been coaching my whole life. At age 24, I was giving professional speeches for the Chamber of Commerce in Erie, and I was teaching at Gannon University. So I was coaching their graduates on how to get motivated for their next step of life. So in a lot of ways, my teaching was motivational coaching. And then this whole coaching phenomenon came to be, and I said, I want to be certified as a coach. So it's just a different model. My coaching clients that I have now at Therapy by the Sea, they have, many of them come to my office, which is fine. And then they have access to me by cell phone, Skype, and email in between their sessions. So it's constant support. So if I'm seeing a single person who's venturing back out in dating world, let's say a date didn't go well, it's like, oh my gosh, Riana, this happened. What should I do? They can reach me, and then I get back to them. Where therapy clients don't have that luxury. It's too regimented. We're not supposed to be on email or texting with a therapy client or them having full access to us by cell phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's more rigid ethical laws for that.
But I would think that, if the communication is occurring, what is the matter of the form?
There's just more laws to that. And
So it's not really, it just dictates how conversation is to be conducted.
Right. Right. And I can't go across state lines. I have to be licensed.
Oh, right.
For counseling
Oof.
in each state. That's why I just got a Florida license in case I retire there.
You're never retiring.
I know. I'll never retire, but maybe move there someday.
Relocate.
Relocate, cool. Yes. But that's a really nice method because it's instant answers or within a reasonable amount of time. So they're always growing and learning and propelling themselves forward. And counseling needs a diagnostic code.
Right.
So you have to put a label on someone, which has always not been comfortable for me. I don't like calling someone depressed because maybe they're just going through something for that moment.
Right.
But you have to label that. And now with the whole Obamacare thing, now it goes into the national health care computers.
I'm glad you mentioned that. My understanding is people are always concerned about privacy and NSA and the spying. Well, my understanding, this whole Obamacare thing
it's horrible for our
all
country.
Our personal information is going into a government data bank.
Exactly. So, and I see a lot of police officers. I see people from the tech center that work for our government. They don't want any labels into a national bank.
So that's what.
So this coaching model is perfect for them. Nobody sees that file. It's totally private. I do not take insurance for coaching, but I take insurance and EAP plans for counseling.
Right.
So that's the difference. But what would you pay to have great advice and yet have total privacy?
Well,
and people
privacy is everything.
It's absolutely worth it.
And I think that people don't really grasp what's occurring. Everyone's worried about this guy Snowden telling our government secrets, and government spying on us. Well, this whole national health care. Everything that's being said and done in the office is being sent to some government database.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
And I saw the writing on the wall.
Yes.
And that's why I started my certification in coaching several years ago. And part of my goal a year and a half ago was, 2 books and my app and a new website to totally launch the coaching end of what I do.
So you saw this vision, you wanted to
Absolutely.
be here, and now time frame wise, did it hit your time frame as to?
Yep, I'm right on time. But I do this goal setting system that's been part of my life to achieve all my goals and my dreams and then go to the next step. So,
and I get all that, but life happens,
right?
And things intervene and things pop up. But to say I want to,
but in the spiritual world, there's no mistakes. So what happens maybe is launching you to the next thing you're supposed to do or the next better relationship. So everything happens for a reason. You just have to find the good from the bad, find out what the lessons are. I do have a chapter in there on spirituality. I have a chapter about balance in life, finding the good out of the bad and looking at things totally differently.
Tell me about your spirituality. You've made references to it that you're a spiritual person.
Okay.
That's fine. I get the word. I want to know all about you, Riana.
Okay. Well, I'm actually an interfaith minister as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So a lot of people don't know that up front sometimes. If you're out in dating world and you say, hi, I'm a minister, like people freak out, But
so tell me what that means exactly.
I grew up Episcopalian. Okay. And it was funny. My brother and I, when we were driving ages, we go to church, pick up the program and cut church and go to Dunkin' Donuts and hang out, which was not a good thing to do.
No.
But we live close to my church in Huntington Valley. And as a kid, I go home, then ride my bike or walk up to the little chapel, and I'd go in there all by myself and just sit and pray and say my prayers and do some deep thinking. So my spiritual faith was more always private, and but it was always quite deep. And I like to read the spiritual masters like Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, the Dalai Lama. Those are some of the books that I read. Tony Robbins hits on faith is very important also for your growth and self-esteem. So I've always had a deep sense of faith. And
why is that, by the way? Why is faith so important?
Because that was part of my healing after my loss of Michael and Corinne. Yeah, to be able to have faith to handle the losses.
But was the faith
passing.
of like that there's a God, or is it faith that
Yes.
life will go on, or
faith that there's a God, there's a higher purpose, or the divine, whatever you see him, her, or it to be. Again, I'm interfaith.
Okay.
I do really like Buddhism. I think it's a fabulous philosophy. It's funny, at Penn State, we had to take a religion class, and I signed up for Buddhism. So I really know that philosophy. I've studied it. I still continue to read it, and I really like that.
Can you give a 2-minute summary of what Buddhism is?
Not really, but one of the lessons I teach that is good for my people to understand is our human life is the Earth School, and we're going to be faced with lessons, and we're supposed to become better people from those lessons. So it's not something, most people, when a wrong or a negative thing happens to them, they jump right away to the pity me attitude, like, why me? Or they get angry at somebody. Instead, it's like, if you're breaking up with someone, release them in love and say, thank you for what we had, and I really treasure you and the time we had. I'm sorry this happened, but, maybe you're just not the right person for me at this point, because you're doing something I can't believe in or endorse.
Or just be, different paths and different interests.
Different paths.
It could be a variety of reasons.
Exactly. It's a variety of reasons, but you still want to find the gratitude in that relationship, and that's part of your healing. So the Earth School is, we're presented with these lessons, and how you handle them is part of your divine passage into, the second life. So that's a little bit of Buddhism lesson.
So getting back to you about your interfaith ministry. So how do you apply, or how do you practice? Or
my company is called Ceremonies by the Sea, and I've had it since 1997. And really, what I do civil unions, which are now marriages in New Jersey, and wedding ceremonies. And I do anniversary or ring commitment ceremonies. So I've been doing that just part-time. I call it my joyful work.
Right.
I just actually had a very beautiful testimonial written today from a couple I married in Cape May, and she just sent it to me this morning.
Would you want to share that?
Sure, if you'd like me to.
Absolutely. I want people to know how wonderful you are, Riana. I can't believe, honestly, what's going through my mind is I'm pretty good at sizing up people, but I had no idea to the depth of who you are. And it's just a real treat for you to be sharing my birthday, my radio show anniversary.
Congratulations. That's
absolutely
fabulous.
So it's while you're doing that. You are listening to Greenberg News on WNJC 1360 AM. We have with us celebrating 18 years in broadcasting. And to help make this show special, we have with us Riana Milne. Did I get your last name? Milne.
M-I-L-N-E, like the Winnie the Pooh author, A.A. Milne.
Okay. Any relation, by the way?
Yes.
Really?
There's writers in every lineage of my family, every generation, hearing all the way back. My Uncle Bob, who's one of my mentors, I remember saying, Uncle Bob, I want to be published. What do I need to do? He goes, "Hun, get the initials after your name." I got plenty of them now. I can write a book.
You can write a book after your name.
But one of my childhood dreams was to end up in Barnes & Noble's store, and that just happened in July. So it's like, yes, I got that goal.
A culmination. Check.
Yep, got that
so
one.
I love to see your bucket list. Your bucket list must be expanding by the day.
Well, I have some very good news that I'm really not allowed to mention publicly.
You can mention. We're friends.
Yeah. It will be happening this spring. I'm going to be a coach for a major organization.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just asked to do that several weeks ago, but I can't say who or
that's
where.
That's okay. But the point is you've achieved this level of...
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, this is the big launching pad I've been talking about. By having that connection and then developed and being appointed to the program. So what does something like that entail when you're a coach for a major organization?
Well, I'm about to find out. I don't quite know yet.
Right.
But, and I was very excited when I talked to the gentleman because he says you are, have everything together. You have an app. You have a couple of books. I do teach in job coaching how to do a resume kit. And I got to tell you, everyone that goes to a job with this resume kit that I teach gets their job. But I was talking to him for an hour, and he goes, before I even open your book or your resume kit, you're in. You're hired. You're like, you've got everything I need. So I was very excited about that.
So this person was like a CEO for the company or something?
The recruiter for coaching.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So then you're there to guide their employees, I gather. Is that what you do?
No,
no. This is high-level coaching that you're going to be doing.
Yes, high-level coaching.
Okay,
exactly.
This isn't like share with the masses. You're doing the high-level stuff.
I hope so. It's part of my dream.
You go, girl.
So it's supposed to happen, you know? In the spiritual world, there's no mistakes if you're meditating on it or praying on it, whichever term you're more comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So I found this review.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it? It's a 5-star
I would
review
love to hear it.
for my weddings. I'm on weddingwire.com, and that's where they rate me. Reverend Riana Milne created a wedding ceremony we will never forget. From our first meeting, she explained everything about her ceremony and how special she could make it. From the customized love letters and booklet to the readings by special guests, the ceremony was elegant and enchanting, just like Reverend Riana. Aww. We will never forget Reverend Riana because she was such an important part of our special day. It was a day to remember for sure. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And that's from Dean and Bonnie Kaminsky, who I married in Cape May a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So, you know, it's my joy. Well, all my work is joyful, but to be
make
a
that
part
personal connection
of someone's wedding day,
but to make it special, to really...
It's really a blessing for them to include me.
To raise the bar, raise the level of expectation, and so forth. So now we've kind of defined. We've been talking about what you've been doing, and so where do you see yourself evolving? I like to talk about the future because I'm fascinated.
Well, my daughter Alexia is very deep as well, and spiritually based, and becoming a coach herself. And we definitely want to do seminars, one in LA and one in the Atlantic City area for women's empowerment. With the book proceeds, like I said, going to various groups who approach me. So I would be looking for speakers for that from any of your listeners, motivational men or women that have a message to help women get out of their pain and propel them forward to be the greatness that they are. I do need to prepare some ebooks for my website and some webinars so I can reach more people than my office can reach. So
I get that, but it's there's something big out there you haven't touched on yet. There's something else that you're evolving into.
Well, we'll see. One day at a time.
I know we'll see. But I'm just saying, but you have this vision, you have goals. So there are new goals I know in your pipeline. You rather not talk about them? Is that it?
No, I would like to do speaking on a grand level.
Right.
And television would be great.
Yes, absolutely. You would do great in TV.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to be there. You need a co-host for you. I would love to host your program.
I did a lot of television when I had the Model and Talent Company. Promoting my people after their major successes out at convention. Everybody I took to convention got placed in a big agency from around the world. So every time I returned to Erie, we did television shows based on their successes. So I like to see other people reach their successes. That's what my joy is.
Right.
That I could help them somehow in their life path.
So, and that's about you becoming a larger presence and really defining and becoming more of a, not just, but on many levels.
Right.
So it's emotional. Well, I'm telling you. You tell me.
Got it, Brian.
I know what you're about. It's just a wonderful.
I believe everyone is born to recognize. They all have gifts. Little babies are born with perfect presence.
Right.
And it's only, unfortunately, sometimes when they grow up, their parents saying, "You're bad," or a coach says, "You can't do that. You can't be first string," or someone else who they admire and respect or love tells them they're not good enough. And this whole live beyond your dreams is saying you're absolutely perfect and magnificent, and it's time that you realize that. Now, get this watch me mindset within your minds, within your soul. Read how to get this system together. It's very simple, and it's something you live every day. You live consciously, which we call in the now, monitoring who you are at every moment, and you wake up to 3 goals for the day. And if you're doing that for the day, you have daily goals, then you have weekly goals in both business or school and personal. Then you have monthly goals, and you have 6-month goals, and then you can have 2 or 5-year goals as well. Like I said, when I was going to do my coaching, I wanted 2 books out right before the holidays. So Live Beyond Your Dreams came out last holiday, and this one, Love Beyond Your Dreams, is coming out this holiday. And then in the meanwhile, I wrote the app so I could get my name out there, my articles for the column. Started writing the column in June. So now those articles are all over the internet. If you Google my name, Riana Milne, I think I have like 25 or 30 pages of information.
I'm amazed. I did my homework.
Okay.
Like I said, that's what I did when I was, checking you out, so to speak. And I'm just, as I said, it's like peeling an onion in a nice way. The more I peel, there's so much more there.
Yeah.
And you have a wonderful presence,
Thank
a great
you.
message. And it's just, it's living in the moment and being joyful.
Exactly.
It's a great thing. So we are out of time.
Are we? Can I finish with one quote?
Oh, yeah, and a quote and a plug for the website and all that good stuff.
Okay. The quote is, "Do not look for love, be love. Only then will it flow from you and to you from many sources, and it will surround you in all of its essence." And that's how I end my book in Love Beyond Your Dreams. So, it starts with you first. You want a great relationship, look at you first. Become the best you, mind, body, soul, and everything you live and believe in. And then find an equal partner. That's the challenge usually.
That is a challenge of
that
life.
Feels the same way, and then you can have a beautiful relationship together.
All right, and that's where the connection occurs, because you know what you want, and you're focused, then it's easy to gravitate to someone if they share that same vision.
Exactly.
Wonderful. And with that, give a plug to our listeners where they can get more information about you.
Okay, Brian, I want to thank you also for having me here today. Really
my
appreciate
pleasure.
it. Well, my website is rianamilne.com, and the new site will be launched by the end of November, which will afford the ability for coaching. The relationship app is My Relationship Coach, and it is free to download. And the book that is currently at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com is Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. And the new book, due out December on Nook and Kindle, is Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. And they're also both available on my website.
And with that, we are out of time. It's been a total delight. What a
Thank
great
you.
way to celebrate my anniversary. Thank you,
And
Riana.
congratulations to you again,
I
Brian.
appreciate it. With that, I hope you enjoyed
Keep
the
on
program,
rocking.
and we'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye now. Bye now. Bye now. Bye now.